Hello, this is Dean Malone with Compass FX. Hope you're doing well today and you're getting some good trades. The poor Canadian dollar today, it took a triple hit today as the Bank of Canada came out and made an interest rate cut, which was basically a right uppercut. No one was expecting out of the blue. The interest rate was at 0.75%. They do a 25 basis point cut to 0.5. Out of the blue, a right uppercut right to the head. They're not done yet. Then the BOC comes across with a left hook by slashing growth forecasts, citing weakening terms of the trade. And if that's not it, it gets a right hand right to the face when we see the NYMEX crude and oil drop 2.7% on the day. I mean, it was out for the count, which was good for many of us who were trading the weak Canadian dollar. You can see here the dollar CAD made a ballistic move up to a 6-year high of 129.58. So today with these big moves, and many of us in the Dodge trade room caught some of these moves, and maybe not for the whole move, because that out of the blue uppercut from the BOC and cutting the interest rates, no one was expecting that. So you almost kind of had to be in on the move before it took place because it jumped pretty hard. It did back off just a little bit and gave some of us an opportunity to step in. With that being said, I've received some emails from folks saying, where to now? Are we going to see the Canadian dollar pick itself back up and get back in the fight or not? Well, I don't think yet we're going to see some strength into the CAD. Now, there's always the potential of a fundamental in the marketplace. Maybe a central banker comes out and says something, but that's not the case here. There could be some geopolitical event. I don't see anything geopolitical coming out of Canada. We could see some concerns based on commodities out of China or Australia, maybe New Zealand, that could have a little bit of overplay into the Canadian dollar, but I'm not really seeing that as well. So I really do see the fact that we're going to find more movement potentially up in the Canadian dollar. Now, granted, there's going to be some folks that wanting to take some profit, and we'll see a bit of pullback. So we've seen that right now. After making that 6-year high move up to 129.58, it does come back some, and sitting here on that third extension high after breaking through it, almost made the move all the way up to the fourth extension high. But to answer the question for many of you who've sent emails asking where to next, you got to go out to that monthly chart. When you go out to the monthly chart, you can see that the dollar CAD is completing a cup pattern, or you might see it completing a double bottom. It's dependent upon what it does next. Typically, you have a cup and then a handle. This might have been a handle right there because the market back in January was looking for a possible continuation up and it didn't happen. And the market pulled back down a little bit. That could have given us the handle. But as you can see, we had a low back here. This was back in 2003, right around that area there. Putting in a low about 123.85. That's current support. The next level up is going to be 30.66. That's where we're looking for the market to potentially move to. Let me zoom in. You can see this a little bit better. You see that low right there. You see these highs and that pinned high to 30.66. There's a possibility of that. Now, if we break beyond 30.66, I'm simply going to look at that swing high to the swing low, and you can see that the 127.2 comes in at 30.83. The 141.4 comes in at 132, a little bit above 132, sitting at about 132.12. So that's my thoughts going forward. Again, if 128.35 holds, we're going to push higher. Let's take a look at the pound CAD. Like the dollar CAD, it broke above the third extension high for the week, push on up to the fourth extension high and put it up a little bit more. Most of this move at the start was obviously the interest rate. Then you get the BOC coming in saying they're going to cut the growth forecast, and then we see what oil ends up doing. It's just, I mean, like I said, it was 3 hits, an uppercut, a left hook, then the right hand, bam, it was over with. It was out for the count. Now, what my thought is, again, is that this is going to try to make a little bounce. This is a little bit of about a 23.6 retrace from this low here, maybe a little bit less than that. Let me take a quick look here from that top. Yeah, right at the 23.6 off this low in this area. And so we're looking to see if it'll bounce back up and head up. If it does, this is what I'm looking at. There's a couple of levels here. We're looking for 2.044, and then beyond that is 2.073. Current highs we see right in this area, average highs right in this area, is going to put us about that 2044 level. So we're going to look to see if the market's going to push on up to that. Last but not least, we saw the Euro CAD. Now the Euro CAD did make that strong move up, but because of the overall weakness we see in the Euro, it had a push back to the downside. It still could potentially move up if we see greater weakness in the CAD than we do the Euro. If you go out and take a look at the weekly chart on this, you can see that there's a level right in here that it could potentially move up to. So make note, it could move up to that 1.4338 and then potentially all the way up to 1.4465. So 4465 top side, 4338 a little bit underneath, but that would be levels that could potentially reach up to. We did put in a bit of a support area right in this area, so right about there, around that 140 level is going to be the current support for it. So again, that's the Euro CAD levels that I'm expecting, potential push up, and if it breaks below 140, then we fall back down. On the pound CAD, what I'm looking at again is a continuation up to the 2.044 level. If it breaks through that, we could potentially see the 2.073. The current level of support is going to be sitting there about 1.95. That's a pretty big move down there, but the pound CAD makes some big moves. It has a daily range of in the 200, 250 range level. And then the dollar CAD. Again, I see that the dollar CAD potentially it has support already at 128.35 and then that push on up to 130.66. If the 130.66 breaks, then there's that potential move up to 132. Well, folks, this is D Malone with Compass FX. Watch and see what happens to the CAD. Now, don't be surprised. There might be some profit takers if the market doesn't start making some move to the upside. We've had some people take some profits a little bit, but not much. We've had a little bit of move back. You can see it here, and you can see it there, a little bit. But typically, when you only have about a 23.6 to a 38.2 retrace, and that's all you get from the low to the top, that is a sign of potential continuation higher. So that's what I'm looking for in this case. However, any news that could be strengthening for the CAD, you could see a potential slide back down to about a 50% retrace. Then it'll steady itself and then make another potential move up higher. This is D Malone with Compass FX. Hope some of this will help you out in your trading. Y'all go make it a great day. Get some good trades, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.